Uh, my name, should I be looking into the camera?
Your call?
Okay. Ben Hale.
My name is Tim Switalski.
My name's Randy Kreider.
My name is Jim Geyer. Some people call me Reverend Jim.
My name is Erin Scheckman.
I'm Craig. Worrell. I'm Craig. I'm
One
Craig
more
Worrell. Okay. I'm Craig Worrell.
We're, I don't know, six people doing something we can be proud of. I mean, in the simplest terms.
Before we formed the Rust Belt Monster Collective, we really didn't have any plans for it.
When we first started, it was just a blog to get together every week and draw some silly fan art or something crazy with my friends. The live art just kind of happened, and I was not expecting that, and I don't know if anyone was expecting that. And now that's primarily what we focus on, which is pretty cool. It's a surprising and strange evolution of the original intentions of the blog. It started off as just a blog. Now it's a art collective that create live action art.
The Rust Belt Monster Collective was just going to be a blog. And we quickly discovered that we love working together. And then it snowballed into this huge thing.
I mean, it's really just a matter of, I think that we formed it just to kind of keep each other accountable.
It was to keep us all drawing.
It wasn't really a decision. It was like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, okay. So we did this.
We needed some way that we could keep working beyond our regular jobs.
I just had like a job that I hated, and I needed some sort of escape outside of it. So it was just a great escape from that, just a great way to sort of plug in into what I wanted to be rather than what I was.
The Rust Belt Monster Collective work is just fun, and that's kind of the gift.
What you got there, Jim?
A little bit of a tribute to Pam Grier, Foxy Brown.
How come?
I had a boyhood crush on her. I still have that same boyhood crush. I'm actually 50, but I tell everybody that 50 is just a number. It's not a state of mind. It's just numbers.
I am the youngest member of the group. I'm 27.
Don't see myself as 50 when I'm with them. I feel like I'm the same age, which isn't true, but I feel like it.
I don't feel like there's any age difference at all. It's so collaborative at its essence, and we're such equals in everything that we do that age doesn't come into it at all.
Before the collective, I did some comics.
A lot of art in my own time.
I design kids' craft kits.
I am an artist, illustrator, cartoonist, comic book, all-around nice guy.
I do a lot of gallery work.
I'm a freelance illustrator.
Artist, animation, some video work.
Primarily, I do fantasy art, and with that, a lot of digital painting. But at the same time, I love to do figure drawing and traditional painting, and some sculpture.
I've been drawing since I was able to hold a pencil, drawing on the walls just like most artists, doing things I shouldn't be doing. Mostly comic book illustrations, mostly independent comics.
Xeroxed 8.5 by 11 comics. It was a nice way to cut my teeth, and a really a nice placeholder instead of going to art school when I was in my early 20s.
A lot of it was just learning through a lot of online tutorial, and then I was always getting books. You know, my Amazon wish list is just years of different art books.
I grew up in a really blue collar, I mean lower middle class family, so college was never really an option, and I knew that I wanted to draw. There was nothing else I wanted to do besides draw. So making my own comics was a way to do what I wanted to do when no other option was provided.
We all have our work ethics, and we've all come from, modest backgrounds.
We're centered here. We're oriented like smack dab in the buckle of the Rust Belt.
I grew up here in the suburbs of Cleveland, which is, I would assume, pretty much like anywhere else in the country. In the suburbs, they're all the same. It's quiet and kind of sedate, and you're always looking for something to do and some way to get out and say, man, I'm going to blow this joint when I'm done. And you get a little older and you find out that there are cool things where you are, and you just have to make them. And that's what this is. Instead of complaining that there's nothing to do and nothing cool in this city, I feel pretty satisfied that I'm making something to do and making something cool in this city.
We're proud of Cleveland and we love our town.
Rust Belt refers to the working class.
We all come from like pretty much blue collar backgrounds.
It was important for me for us to kind of wear work shirts and to sort of have that work ethic. And that's what I think about the Rust Belt, is that people in this region know the value of hard work, and I like to think that what we're doing is taking that aesthetic and applying it to our skill set.
There's a certain aesthetic that we all kind of grew up on, and we want to kind of imbibe that, or like be a part of that kind of thing and kind of reflect where we're from.
The use of salt and water and decay, but I think that's kind of cool because I think that almost describes the group.
We wanted to own that and bring it to the group and shout out that we love Cleveland, we love this area, and we're proud to be from here.
It's not the East Coast and the West Coast, which you think of as like your cultural zeitgeist kind of areas. This is more, it's Cleveland. No one expects a lot from Cleveland, and that's kind of an annoying feeling. And so this is kind of, I don't know, our attempt to do something and show that there's stuff here.
We've had artists come up to us and ask us what it's like to have somebody else working on something that you just worked on, and we actually had a lady that told us that she could never do it because she doesn't like people touching her work, and I think that's missing out on something that's pretty magical. I mean, when all six of us are together and we're working, we're bouncing off of each other, and we're working on each other's art.
And it just somehow works, because in the middle of it, you're talking to each other on what does it need, what needs to be fixed. Somebody will have an idea based on something you drew.
We're 6 artists that feed off each other.
We take up each other's slack. If one person can't do one thing, another person picks it up, or vice versa.
It's spur of the moment and kind of fun and improvisational.
It's chaotic, but it always comes together in the end.
They're a lot about just, feeding off the crowd.
Usually you're working in seclusion and you don't get a lot of immediate feedback, and with people it's like they come up to you and they'll tell you, oh, this looks really cool, or what are you painting? And it seems like that would be an annoyance, but it's really not.
We've been painting murals, painting in barns, painting in the rain, painting in 14-degree weather.
The bright winter one, that sticks out because it was hard. That was really cold, and it was 19 degrees.
Your whole body is just constantly shaking the whole time.
But at the end of the night, the paint wouldn't dry.
Our paint froze. It's hard to paint with frozen paint, and fingers, and brushes, and general everything else. It would have been too cold to quit. I think that's how it was. We just kept working to stay warm for that bright winter event.
I had this bottle of acrylic ink. At some point, because it was cold and because I'm an idiot, I dropped it, and spilled ink everywhere. 3 or 4 hours later, I went to go get a cup of coffee, and I pulled off my 2 sets of gloves, and my hand was just black. And at that point, I was convinced that finally my pursuit of making art had frostbitten my hands, and they were gonna have to be cut off, and then that was over.
But
But yeah, I still have both. They're still here.
it was just ink.
Oh yeah, it was just ink. Yeah.
Well, how about what about the rain that happened at the latest Ingenuity?
The flood in Ingenuity. It was heartbreaking.
We started outside and got our base down as usual, and then it rained. And it kept raining, and it didn't stop raining.
How's the mural?
I haven't looked at it yet, but it's looking kind of soggy from the back, so I don't know if that's a good sign.
Look up. It's still coming down.
I need to get a chance to spray everything before it rains.
Yeah, whatever we're doing, we're starting again tomorrow. So
It washed off a lot of what we had worked on.
it's all washing off. Like anything that was thick didn't dry all the way through, so the rain it's like peeling off the big thick pieces.
Oh, look at those muscles!
And just everything got wrecked. 24 feet of mural, just all bowed and warped and faded the next day.
I think it was that setback that set us up for, I would say, one of our best pieces.
If it was me, if it was just myself, I would have given up. And there's plenty of examples in my entire life where that would have been the case. I would have just given up and said, well, it's not going to happen because it was a 3-day festival. Because there were 5 other people, and because it was these 5 other people, I was more than happy to just roll on and save it and, turn it into, to date, probably one of the best things we've ever done.
There's a little bit of spite in that mural that I really like. It's the, we finished this regardless of the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's something that we just deal with now.
If you're an artist out there and you're chained to your table and you're working alone, really consider branching out and meeting people.
Break that vacuum. Just break the artistic vacuum that just seems to happen.
You don't get better in a vacuum.
Go out there, meet other artists, let go of your competitiveness.
Don't do it by yourself. There are more of you out there. Find them and draw with them. It's a better experience.
Get amongst a group of your peers and make art. And even if you feel down on yourself, you can always stand up for somebody else's art that you love.
I've written this in just about every sketchbook, and it's a Rodin quote. It's just work is the only salvation. That's it. Just work is the only salvation. That's my advice.
This is what we do. It's fun. You can either look at it, like it, or leave it. I don't care what you choose. Because we're going to do it anyways.